trying to hitchhike. Holly, being too young and not understanding the concept of danger and crime, considers the driver to be evil and horrible not to stop, waiting even longer for another car to pass by. After 20 more minutes or so, a pickup truck notices Holly and stops by, giving her a ride. The driver is no other than a customer in the Norwood gas station Holly refilled her tank from, who strangely recognizes Holly as if he was watching her. Holly then loads her stuff in the stranger's car, including the dog food she bought after her mom's request for the dog Milo, and hops quickly in the car after the stranger's complaint that he's in a rush. The stranger introduces himself as Jason and makes a bizarre remark that Holly is a brave girl, which confuses her to why he would say such a thing. He continues on that the cashier is delusional, believing in such myths, indicating that he was listening in on Holly's conversation with the cashier. Jason then goes on a cryptic monologue about certain people or beings who possibly heard the cars of Holly's car broken down, and as long as she doesn't bother them, so wouldn't they. After some small talk and a few hours of driving, Jason drops Holly at the nearest motel, which also happens to offer road services. The receptionist instructs Holly not to wake the other guests up, as they wouldn't take nicely on it, and he reassures Holly that a colleague of his will sort out her car early tomorrow. Holly goes to her room when suddenly she gets jump-scared by Tommy idling around in the bathroom. Tommy, working there, orders Holly to step outside until he prepares the room for her. After some time, Tommy prepares a room and Holly starts to rest on the bed and drifting away. That's when a stranger starts peeping through the window, staring at Holly, which starts creeping around, getting off the bed, her feelings of anxiety taking over her exhaustion. Holly proceeds to leave her room and buy an espresso from the coffee machine, when suddenly she starts feeling dizzy and nauseated, quickly rushing to her room, where she passes out. After regaining her consciousness in a few hours, she realizes that she has been sedated. She subsequently hears creepy squeaks and sounds coming from her room, when suddenly she startles and knocks on her door. Joe, the receptionist, informs her that loud, strange noises have been coming from her room, disturbing the other guests, which makes Holly become confused as she was passed out without making any noise. Joe notices Holly's unusual red eyes, in which Holly pleads that the coffee machine was tampered with. Joe, confused to what she's talking about, they go to the coffee machine, follows her to see what coffee machine she's talking about. Being confronted with no coffee machine in sight, Joe, as the result, starts acting strange, ordering Holly to go back to her room quickly, where she could find some medication to relieve her symptoms, indicating as if he knows of what might have been happening. Possibly someone installing a tampered-with coffee machine just to drug and abuse the guests. After some time staying in the room, starting to drift away from the bed, Holly hears someone with a soft voice trying to attract her attention. He then proceeds to knock on the door, asking Holly for help. Holly tries to ask who the person is, but he dismisses the question and tries to persuade her to open the door. Holly, creeped out by the person behind the door, gets threatened that he just wants help and that he's not police. That's when Holly tells the man to go away before she calls 911. Losing his patience, the man starts kicking on the door with all of his power, making Holly run to the closet and hide in there. The man manages to quickly break the door and looks for her outside the room. He inspects the bathroom when Joe from the reception quickly gets to her room and knocks the man out, taking him by surprise. Holly, unsure to what just happened, with Joe withholding to give her any information and asking her not to call the police, starts believing that this man might have belonged to a drug gang or an organized crime who dwelled within the area. The strange sounds Joe heard thinking it might have been Holly, and with the squeaks coming from the room are soon revealed that were from the strange man who was in fact hiding in the closet, with Holly being narrowly saved by Joe when nothing got aboard. The logs that were barricading the road and Holly's car breaking down seemingly all were due to the car tampering, including the coffee machine with spiked brakes. Therefore, the cashier talking about disappearances, Jason talking cryptically about the mysterious people who wouldn't bother her as long as she didn't bother them, with Joe acting strange when Holly told him about the coffee machine, all indicate that they all knew about the presence of this cult, whom seemingly were afraid to talk about them just in case they would get targeted as well, or in the case of them giving Novi a bad reputation. It's not mentioned what the cult is capable of and what they do to the people they kidnap, with myths and stories believing they might be mythical monsters, hanging their victims on trees upside down, which could possibly hint out that the victims were in fact found that way before, with the cult conducting such gruesome rituals. This was a pretty good story that stretched the tension up until the very end, revealing what the hell is actually going on. I'm really looking forward to the release of the next episode of Here's the Fact. It's been your host R. It's been lovely having you here, folks, and I will see you on the next one.